Hello everyone, it's Elaine. Thank you for joining me today on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be sharing a set of cards I made using some really glittery embossing powder and my distress inks. So for today's card I have cut up some cardstock. These are just a little bit bigger than a standard A2 sized card base. I'm taking this stamp from a shop called Hobbycraft here in the UK, and also my snowflake dies. I think I end up using the Mama Elephant Holly's snowflakes, but I do also have some MFT ones. So my camera doesn't really like it too much when I use this craft mat, so I apologise if it keeps going in and out of focus. So for that reason I'm just showing the ink blending for one of the cards. This one is Festive Berries, and I want that Merry Christmas stamp to be the centre feature of my card, so I keep bringing that back in just to help me make sure that I'm, leaving enough space and everything sort of is going to work together quite well. So I'm trying to have the distress inks darker around the edges and lighter in the middle. Some of the cards worked out well, some ended up having the same amount of colour all over, and it might look on camera like it's quite patchy, and it wasn't perfectly blended, but that didn't matter because I'm going to be adding some snowflakes over the top and also a bit of gold splatter, so it doesn't matter too much if these aren't perfectly blended. This is some just plain white heavyweight cardstock, something that I use to make my card bases with. So nothing fancy. So here are all of the ink blended backgrounds, and I'm taking this Waffle Flower Lacy Layers die, the largest one in that set, and it has some nice sort of dotted detail around the edges as well. So just pop that over each of the card bases one at a time. I'm just showing it for one card base for the purpose of this, and off camera I just die cut those all out. So moving on to my heat embossing. So I'm taking my Tim Holtz stamp platform. This is the largest one, and I don't have any creative corners, so I have to be creative, and I used a piece of acrylic that I had lying around and a ruler, and just used a bit of post-it tape there to hold down my card panel. And yeah, I do start placing my stamps into my platform. So just dotting those around, trying to place the stamps so they'll be visually pleasing to the eye. So the larger ones are hanging off the edge of the cardstock, which is fine, and then I'm placing some smaller ones around, trying to balance things out as best as I can so that I don't have too many large ones in one area. There is a really nice selection of sizes of snowflakes in this stamp set. And close down the lid of my stamp platform. And it did pick up my cardstock, but that's fine. I'm just going to pop back those corners, and I can just pop that straight back in there. And remove those again, and just go in with my embossing bag, my anti-static embossing bag. I'm using my Versamark ink to stamp out all the snowflakes, and then close the lid and press down. Now for this card, I realise, you'll see in a moment, I didn't press down hard enough. I forget when I use this, I don't use this that often, this platform, because it's quite big for filming, but I didn't press down that Versamark ink hard enough, so it's really patchy, as you can see. So what I end up having to do with this particular panel is heat setting this and then putting it back into the stamp tool and re-inking it. I haven't shown that, but that's what I did. But anyway, moving on to just one more. I don't show all of these, but I'm just popping, this is the shaded lilac ink panel, and I'm basically just repeating the same steps over and over again. So this time I'm pressing down much harder. I think sometimes I even stand up and lean on it to make sure I get everything really pressed down into that panel. Popping on, this is gold tinsel embossing powder. I'm in the UK. This is from Papermania, but I'm sure there's lots of it's more of a glittery embossing powder. It's got like gold flecks in it. It's really pretty. And this one is Victorian Velvet, one of my favourite distress ink colours. And I've now coated all of my snowflakes in embossing powder, and I'm heat setting them all at the same time. So here they all are. These have all been heat embossed and all nicely coated and shimmery and glittery and lovely. So I want to put some ink splatter over the top of those cards. So I just quickly stamp out really roughly that Merry Christmas stamp onto a piece of scrap cardstock. And I just really roughly cut that out because I'm going to place that over the top of my Merry Christmas on my cardstock. So when I ink splatter, it doesn't go all over my middle sentiment. So this is some Windsor & Newton gold ink, a really old paintbrush, and I have to shake that ink really well first and then pop some onto my acrylic block, and then I'm just flicking it onto my cards. And the most time-consuming part of these cards was actually the ink blending. But other than that, this process was quite quick, and you can see how lovely and shimmery and glittery they are. I did try and use some more festive colours, the more traditional colours for Christmas. If you watch my videos and follow my Instagram, you'll know I love pinks and purples, but I did try and add in some greens, and I spruced and things like that. So I've made some card bases here and just popping some liquid adhesive on the back of those and then adhering them to those card bases. Lots of glue. They did warp a little with all of that heat embossing. The heat was on them for quite some time, melting all those snowflakes. I've listed all the colours of distress ink that I've used down in the description box below if you're interested. Pressing that down really good until it's all nicely stuck. And here are all of the cards that I made. The process is quick once you've done all that ink blending, and I just really love how shimmery and pretty they are. And there I have 6 Christmas cards all ready for mailing out. So I really hope you enjoyed that video today. I really enjoyed making these. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy my videos, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Have a good day. Bye.